Friends, it is May 1st. A perfect date to start prepping Tour de Fleece. But here's the twist. I'm not prepping my Tour de Fleece. No, my patrons and I are doing a Secret Santa Tour de Fleece exchange. And the names have been drawn. So I'm going to make the Secret Santa package for whomever is lucky to receive some fibery goodness from me, myself and I, or unlucky. Depends on how you look at it. I will of course not say who it is, because that would make it a lot less secret in the case that they have not yet received that package. I will tell you, however, that it is someone who is fairly close to me, which is on the one hand nice, because that will lower the price of customs a lot. But secondly, I really wanted to send some Flemish sheep across the Atlantic, but next year maybe. They are a beginning spinner, or maybe already intermediate spinner, but I don't think they have a lot of practice yet. They are also not very active on the Discord, so I don't know much about their preferences yet. So my plan is to actually just make like a cheese platter of fiber, have multiple things of what I have all neatly lined up together so that they can pick and choose, maybe blend together. So, wrap my floof tower. Here is some Flemish sheep and some Belgian milksheep, because I have gotten rid of my big bag, but I saved some just for this Tour de Fleece adventure. Got some Hampshire down that I might also send in the package. That's Oesand, but I also still have Zwartbles. This is Tessellaar, I guess. Or is that Tessellaar? No, that's the mystery fleece. And some alpaca. Would that make a great cheese platter of fiber? I'll start with scouring the Belgian milksheep and the Flemish sheep. I think that's the basis of whomever ever gets another Secret Santa package of mine. I mean naturally, because they are just really good fibers. Not going to send some poopy bits. Don't think the post will appreciate that. The rules for this Secret Santa gift exchange was to have 50 grams of fiber at minimum, so that everyone at least gets the same value of a gift, sort of. But for the rest, there were no rules. I encouraged everyone to dive in their stash to see what they already have. Or if they don't have a big stash, just see whatever they could find. You know, you don't necessarily have to go and buy fancy fibers. That was a takeaway, because not everyone has a budget for fancy fibers. There's loads of these knots from this one particular plant. Weird sheep. What have you been doing? It's like a thistle? Was it like a thistle or something? Flemish sheep looks a lot cleaner. So I added my floofs into a bucket of rainwater. Now, if this was my own fiber prep, I would probably deem this enough. But since it's for someone else, we're going to be a little more thorough and actually put it on low heat with some soap in it to actually get rid of most of the lanolin. And probably repeat it a couple of times. I could also, of course, make some fun, colorful roll eggs. Maybe. But first, let's focus on this. So our first bath has turned to fleece. A lot whiter and the water a lot murkier. Going to do that all over again to really get this clean. I mean, the remnant bits of VM I will comb out. And this sheepy tea I will feed to my garden as some kind of fertilizer, I guess. And here is our wool after a second scouring bath. Not spectacularly more white, but the water is spectacularly less brown. So I think I'm just going to let this run through a third bath, but then without soap, just to get the soapy suds out. Then we can let it dry and maybe start scouring some more fleeces. Next up, Zwartbles. And the neighbor that is mowing his lawn, however, it is an official holiday. Anyway, squeeze. Water turning murky directly, and we didn't even add soap or heat yet. You're a greasy mother flipper. Because I wasn't 100% sure that my Secret Santa receiver is so much of a sheep lover, I also cleaned some alpaca. Nice dark brown. Now these are all almost entirely dry. Let's start with the actual fiber prep. Let's start combing and or carding these floofs so that we have a nice prep that is directly spinnable. Going to start with the Flemish sheep over here with some combing. Does this look like a bit of fiber you would like to receive in a gift? I would, but maybe I'm not all that picky. Ta-da! All of the Flemish sheep combed in these little bird's nests. I got a little bit of packing paper, going to make a nice little package out of it, weigh it, put it on a card. Maybe we'll make some nice postcards to go with each of the fiber types. Since I don't know what fiber they like, I know even less what fiber prep they like. So for this alpaca I'm making hand-carded row legs. It's not something I'm very good at, but the first one doesn't seem all too bad. Oops, that's some leftover yarn, wool that was still on my cards. Oops, 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 oops. We'll write it on the card that there might be some sparkly wool in there as well. I did a little proof of concept spin because I was a little bit scared that my very amateuristic row legs wouldn't be very spinnable, but hey, they are. Even on my double drive wheel Burnett. Okay, so if anyone thought that I used quite a bit of rainwater for scouring all that fleeces, thing be overflowing again. Really, like May 1st, good day, but like the rest of spring has just been this. My city's rainwater catchment system has failed and I drove home in rivers instead of on roads. Also, so for all of my packages in this big Secret Santa package, I'm trying to go for approximately 20 grams per little package. Now I'm combing the Belgian milksheep and I realize I'm not going to get to the 20 grams because it is very dirty and I have to discard a lot. Now I also realized I don't actually know whether my Secret Santa likes only natural colors. Maybe they are very partial towards very fun and colorful preparations. So my thoughts, because I don't have enough of the Belgian milksheep scoured and prepped to go as one package, let's add some fun little colors. This would then also mean that I have 2 packages of comb fiber and 2 packages of carded fiber, which is also great because, as said before, I don't know whether they like combed or carded preps. And then they can pick and choose equally. Got some leftover green merino top from when I did the mill ends video. This was like too much to add to one of my mill ends bobbins, so I just saved it. And this is a great occasion to use it. Ta-da! All my Secret Santa packages done, and one card to say their Secret Santa has arrived. Maybe I just want to go over these little postcards with you for a moment. You just saw me draw this one. This is Belgian milksheep, and because the Belgian milksheep has like a naked tummy, the sheep itself. So I made it paint himself our tricolor. And I know Emperor Cusco is technically a llama and not an alpaca, but you know his colors fit the alpaca in here. Bit of lavender to keep moths away during postage. The hype is real. This is like a kind of inside joke on our Patreon Discord. Every time everyone does something with Zwartbles, I chime in that the hype is real, because the hype is real. Everybody loves Zwartbles. And if you didn't know, Flemish sheep is actually God. Or God is a Flemish sheep. At least that's how the brothers Van Eyck depicted the Lamb of God on their Ghent altarpiece. That's a Flemish sheep on the Ghent altarpiece, so of course I had to draw like the detail of the Ghent altarpiece on this card. Is maybe a little bit morbid and a little bit gruesome, but you know, that's the story behind it. So yeah, 80 grams of nice floof. All I need to do right now is find a suitable box or bag and print the label to send it off to its final destination. Let's finish up this package. That should stay closed and be waterproof, which is very useful around these countries these days. I'm going to add the label and then post my package. So now if I have to send a Secret Santa to someone, then well, the rules of Secret Santa are of course that someone has to send their Secret Santa to me. And they were not as lucky to have a intra-national package. No, they had an international and even an intercontinental. Like literally, they have to send it from Australia to Belgium. Which sounds incredibly exciting, and it is, but also, well, they got their package sent back to them because apparently the EU is very strict on tariff codes, and then it was stuck in customs here in Belgium for 3 weeks because, you tell me. But it has arrived. My package have arrived. I, of course, today when I knew that it was going to arrive, like clocked every van. Are you my package? Are you my package? And there it was, somewhere around noon. My package! Let's see what Australia has got on offer for me. Oh, I see. You see two really beautiful braids and a card. They have been listening, like natural color, yes. And then my 3 favorite colors, yellow, orange and green. Yes. Anyway, let's read the note. Or well, I'm going to read it first and then If it's not too personal, I read it to you too. Hello Jente and greetings from Australia. My name is Lisa and I'll be your fiber enabler for this year's Tour de Fleece. Excited to be doing this as it is my first since starting spinning a little over 1.5 years ago. Let's dive into the fiber, shall we? I think that's a very good idea, Lisa. The yellow, it's this braid, as I said, my favorite colors, yellow, orange, green. Anyway, this is from John Arben Textiles from their Devonia range called... I'm sorry, you have very beautiful handwriting, but Pollen Ed. I'm going to try and find it on their website. It is 100 grams, a blend of 50% exmoor blueface, 30% bluefaced leicester and 20% leicester breeds. Oh, I'm very excited. I've been wanting to try bluefaced leicester. Very good, very good. Oh, it's soft. Of course, I'm touching it to the face. That is my main go-to when I get fiber. Face first, face first. Oftentimes people ask me about fiber, is it next to skin soft? And I think the neck is the best spot to gauge whether or not the particular fiber is next to skin soft for you. And this is very much. Woo! Very excited for this braid. But 100 grams for one braid, and I said the minimum was 50 grams. What I've heard from all my patrons on the Discord is people are going to get spoiled because nobody listened to the 50 grams. Okay, and then the grey ash colored is Pollwarth. Ooh, that's also a name that sparks joy. And oh my god. Oh, yeah, I'm sporting a beard from now on. Gorgeous. Anyway, Pollwarth from the farm here in Australia that created the breed in the 1800s. That tickles my nerd brain. Whoo, that's cool. Tarny.com. I have spun some of these myself and they are very lovely. They are haha. I'm going to be knitting a shawl from the yellow one, hopefully soon. Hope you enjoy these, whether or not you use them in TDF or later on. Much love, Lisa. Oh, I am going to enjoy them. That is a given, very much a given. I think I might spin this during Tour de Fleece, but like not my main thing, because as you saw on Wednesday, that is the Suffolk. But I've got some days where I'm probably not able to spin on my wheel, and then maybe it's nice to spin a bit of these on the spindles. I'm excited for spinning them in any case. So yeah, next time that you see me, we will actually be smack bang in the middle of Tour de Fleece. My patrons and I have a Discord channel where we support each other, talk about the fleeces, talk about the fibers that we're spinning during Tour de Fleece. If you want to join them, you can go to patreon.com/manwolden. But of course, no pressure. And if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you, yes, as I said, smack bang in the middle of Tour de Fleece. And if you want, maybe you could recap by watching last year's vlogs. Bye!